No, that's not it. That's not it. Um, yeah, I'm going up. Quick question. For those, you're gonna be down here? I'll go to break. I'll be right back. Those double swinging doors for the bathroom.
Those double swinging doors for the bathroom. What happened to you on Clubhouse, boss? Oh, it was a thing. It was a hot thing for a hot minute. It was just a little thing. I know, but your rooms were so popular, boss. What happened? What is everybody? Like I told you, it was a thing. It was a short-term thing. It wasn't supposed to be forever. It was just a short-term thing. I know, but there was so much valuable information being discussed. It was so healthy and important for the community.
Midnight chalk on the floor. I draw a roll door. You step in like a spell. With your eyes on my core. Coffee on the table. And the candles lean. Rock, hope, I crack. Stirring smoke between. Your hands speak thunder. Mine answer back. Heart like a sigil. Beating off the track. All power, power, all power, calling by name. We've been the dark hour. We wear the flag. Hope I take my hand.
What are you laughing at, Abby? Chernobyl IRD 3645208 escapee. Welcome.
Yes.
Is there Islam in the Bible? Or is the Bible in Islam? Which one is it? Megatron, this is a very good question. Very good question. The best of questions, Megatron. I salute you on your question, Megatron. So that wasn't I don't know. Hello?
I told the oh shit, too early for this, man.
Too early for this? What do you mean? It's 7:53 in the morning here.
What do you mean? This is prime time right now. What are you talking about? This is when the shit gets done. This is when the city gets built. Not on your time.
No, on my time it will never get built.
I don't know what your time is.
At the moment, it's almost 3 p.m.
Yeah, I don't know who said what
John,
the
I
fuck,
told
but yeah,
everyone that
I'm
you like this
extremely
girl.
happy that Jason's in a worse position than me.
mean, we were having a good time. Like it was, it's like I said, it's a small position. I mean, it's not a super small position, but it's small where I can like rent it off and share. And it was a fun couple of weeks in Clubhouse. So we all thought we were geniuses.
Can I just say it was never fun at any point because like I watched it run up to $30 and I caught a falling knife.
So, welcome back to another exciting episode of Debating Muslims while Barth installs new doors in a bathroom. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a hardworking American man making America great again. One bathroom door at a time. Good morning. So, I'm also in the Bitcoin room, which I think is one of the dumbest, toxic, retard, R-word places on Clubhouse, and it's perpetual. It never ends. The Bitcoin room is a consistent.
Yes.
Every single day they go at it. They got this big, fat, disgusting pig British.
You know who's back?
Who?
Isa.
Isa. I knew she would be back. You can't keep her away. She's such a social butterfly, that one.
I think you might have liked that news.
No, I could care less at this point.
No. Come on, John.
No, it's true. My Clubhouse days are coming to an end because I found out a secret. Do you want to know what the secret is?
Yeah.
It's just stop talking. That's the secret. It's not really about what I listen to, which is the problem. It's actually me talking. That's the problem.
Okay.
You know why that's a problem?
Mm-mm.
Because it's a waste of time. Talking here is a complete waste of time.
It is a
But
fucking waste of time.
the value is actually in recording people. It's not in...
No, it's also not recording people.
No, that has to be the only value creation. That has to be. Me talking...
Somewhat, yes.
Me talking here is not very valuable, but recording people, now that's valuable.
You think after like 500 years they find your recording?
Bro, once I log off the app, I no longer exist in this space. Once I delete the app, that's it. None of you no longer exist.
It's true.
See the squiggly lines in the audience.
Yeah.
Him that's not going to tell us whether Islam is in the Bible. That guy that just wants to listen in. Guy, I'm no longer going to exist in it. I'll see him on the battlefield. I guarantee. We'll see who wins. When we see him on the battlefield.
Whoa, Megatron! Why do you look at the same battlefield? We're not enemies. We're not enemies.
Break that cross and kill Greek.
Afwan, Habibi. Islam is not in the Bible. The Bible is in Islam, Habibi.
No, listen, I'm just being upfront.
Muhammad was the final revelator, the last messenger.
We'll see if he can run faster than an Apache helicopter. I'll pray for him.
You, Abdo. Hello.
Can I just ask this about that topic? Why if anyone give a little bit of, about if the Islam exists in the Bible or not? Why the Muslim, I am as a Muslim, why I care? If the Islam
because you asked me about the Trinity, I'm asking you about where is the continuity in order for your so-called prophet to be a prophet of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah, why still? If you want to say continuity, in what sense? That's the first thing. Second thing, I can say you don't have any continuity between the prophet as a Christian or as a Jew. If you are relying on the Bible, wait. I'm answering a question. If you are relying on the Old Testament or the New Testament, why on the hell anyone care if you are saying anything in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament? Even if this true, even if your old religion, I'm gonna say even if this true, still my religion saying at least you know this about Islam that the prophet is the last prophet. Anything he gonna say
Is he the last prophet?
wait. He gonna be true, and he gonna be determination if what in your book is true or false. So anything.
Well, there you go. So where is it?
Okay.
There you go. So because you made that comment,
Anything
every right
contradict.
to ask you, where is Islam in the Bible? I'm not here to teach you English, my friend. You want to answer the question? You want to answer the question? Let me know. I'm gonna listen to your lecture because you guys want to lecture and then walk out.
Yeah, you say, I understand that's my question. I'm gonna
Okay,
answer.
do a nausea. Do a nausea. Okay, do nausea.
Oh God.
You know what nausea is? The Quran is nausea. This is what you're gonna do right now. You're gonna give me a lecture and you're just gonna walk out.
What is fucking, I don't know what is nausea. Let me answer because I think you're a Zion. The way you take on, I think you're
Muhammad is not a problem. Muhammad is not a problem for me.
Yeah. Wait, anything
Muhammad is not a
with
prophet.
the prophet.
For
Why you don't let me answer, Zionist man?
answer the question then. Hurry up.
Shut up because I answer.
Well,
Shut up.
Here
Let
goes
me
my
answer.
input on this situation right here.
Why anyone
Yo,
cares?
let the guy answer. Hold on, big homie. Chill out, big homie. Yo, big homie, what's happening? Let your boy finish, man.
Okay, now, as a Muslim, let me answer. Now, as a Muslim, and don't interrupt me. As a Muslim, as I said in the beginning, why anyone in there? Shut the fuck up right now.
Shit, I can't remember
Shut
if
the fuck up right
it's
now,
Phillips,
boy.
but I don't remember if it's the Hong Kong May 31 or if it's New York mid-June auction. I think it's in Hong Kong. There's a
Yo,
piece.
big homie, why'd you do that? Why didn't you let him finish, man? My bad, bro. He talking about Muslim stuff.
But,
He ain't acknowledging
yeah, Ming is pretty good.
Oh, you a Muslim too?
Although that whole AHA thing is like clearly there are politics, obviously, and I'm clueless about politics.
You said what? Are you a Muslim?
It's
Are you a
literally.
Muslim? Yeah, bro.
But this AHA
You
is
follow Elijah Muhammad?
the result of some politics.
You said what? Do you follow Elijah?
There's, outsiders, there's
Muhammad?
people who
No.
are not as well accepted or rock the boat.
Yeah, it's just like the whole Holy Trinity bullshit.
Yeah. But I don't give a shit about that. I mean, it's either a heck of a watch, you like it or not. That's it.
Well, that's questionable.
Yes, the main thing is called polymesh.
Right, so then the last part.
Oh wow, that's a shit coin. Polymesh.
What's a shit coin?
It's a Canadian ICO, Polymesh.
No, go look at the watch and type in Ming polymesh. It's a bracelet.
I get it. I'm just saying Polymesh is also a shit coin.
This is sick. 5704. Check the 5704 out. Looks beautiful.
He also collaborated on a tantalum bracelet with Shapiro, and it does look amazing. Oh, dude, this kind of bracelet is a small independent Verlaine Mari or something like that. Look look up their for Lane Mari disco, and you'll see that each one comes with 3 bracelets, and one of them is just like this. And this bracelet is awesome for younger collectors. For the Lane Mari, because of how it cures. It's not a buckle. It's just metal clip. So as the wrist changes, it's very easy to size it at any moment. My son has one of those bracelets. It's very easy for him to deal with. But this one's titanium. This mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta study it a little bit more out of curiosity. It does look. It's not an easy one to make. You talking about Mink Polymesh 20mm curved regular or?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
It's expensive, dude. It's got a blue dial. What is it? $1,200? $1,500? CHF? Is that the one?
Give me a second. The only problem with Ming, I was just doing some research, is that they don't. A lot of it is outsourced. So.
Oh, it's not in-house. Yeah. No, it's not in-house, dude. Yeah, they don't. They just design and they work on something, but not all of the components. I mean, it's a lot. You need equipment. You need a lot. You need like independent, or I mean, not true independent to be completely in-house. He does make the bracelet itself. Did you?
Yeah, that one.
You could just buy the bracelet and add it to whatever watch. You could have some fun too.
Mm-hmm.
But first 3D printed titanium bracelet strap hybrid. Wow, okay. That's very interesting. 1,714 components. Sintering. Okay, so this is true 3D material printing, not just like extruding melted plastic. Deposited layer at a time.
Extruding molten plastic.
see, a lot of these watch make, not a lot, but like Ming, he innovates with modern tech and all that stuff. And besides cool watches, my tech is all, handmade. There's no 3D printing yet, but they'll get there in due time.
Did Trey pull his thumb out of his ass yet? Or no? I can go to watch.
What was that, British?
Did you buy a watch yet?
No, I am not in Texas. I'm flying back today.
Okay.
I don't know how many Rolex distributors they have in Mississippi.
Oh, I got plenty.
Should probably look into some at the airport.
You think their airport has Rolexes in Jackson?
I don't fucking know, bro. What
No.
type of shit call you come from?
No way. No chance. No chance.
I was just trying to be nice.
I appreciate that for even, giving Mississippi a chance to have Rolex placed at their airport. Mississippi may have more money in the UK, but that doesn't mean both places still aren't poor.
How you feeling, Trey? You all good?
Yeah, good. Keep the bags packed.
Sure, yeah. Till I get your blood pressure going again, I can post that picture.
Funny guy. Funny guy, British. Alright. I don't even know what time I'm leaving. I don't even know what fucking time it is now. What time is it, fellas? 8:15, okay.
8:14, 8:13 and a half to be precise.
It's 5:13 p.m.
You sound very frustrated, Trey.
I'm just trying to wrangle up all my stuff because I inevitably, no matter what, leave one important item in my mom's house in Mississippi. And I'm trying to avoid that. By the way, Mississippi is the only place where it can be 70 degrees outside and you're covered up because you're cold, but you're constantly sweating. This is ridiculous. sweating. I've been sweating for 48 straight hours.
Yeah.
And it's not even that hot. It's just so goddamn humid. Hey, Mama, you got the housekeeper coming today? Oh, shit, she's outside. Housekeeper coming today? Told her not to? Oh, okay.
Hey, Mama.
Hi, Trey's mama.
I'll let you say hey to Mama in a second, guys. Hold on, let me just finish packing.
Does she know you won?
Yeah, I told her like a week after. It happened, I told her.
What did she say?
Oh, well, she's incredibly happy and proud.
Good, good, good.
You should tell her this is why I'll never win with your support.
Did I tell my mom what?
You said she's incredibly happy and proud.
Yeah.
That's why you will never win with her support. You need my support.
Oh, I see what you're doing. That's hilarious.
Is she happy and proud of you or Eileen?
For putting up with me till I won one?
I mean, I wouldn't be that proud if my son earned a career average of $500 a year, but
Shit.
I would be of his wife that stuck it through.
$500 a year? Disrespect.
I'd just like to say, as a NACA shareholder, I'd be happy with $500 a year.
I just want to say, as a Naka shareholder, I'd be happy if we just went bankrupt and ended this conversation.
Not a shareholder, British, you would just love to actually have your physical shares in your
No, I don't want this. I don't
This
want.
sounds like a support group meeting in the morning. Like a.
Yeah, it's all right when someone tells us David Bailey's the future and then tax loss harvests their fucking shares.
I got the tweet. I got the tweet.
Oh my god, I got kicked.
far as like sentiment, technical sentiment indicators, you have price versus 50-day, 5-day, RSIs, MACDs, short interest, short sale volumes.
They kicked me.
Borrow fees.
They kicked me. We got a victory.
See if it matches.
Back to the British. Back to the fucking fat pig British.
Logical, open interest. Those are all sentiments, technical.
It is all technical sentiment.
Price relative to moving average, bearish. RSIs, weak, neutral.
Andrew.
Yeah, we're going to 250.
We would have known all of this by just looking at Twitter.
No, he thinks Twitter is bullish, man.
Listen, man. Naka's worth 6,000, 7,000 a share. Okay. Wait, I said a share. I meant for the whole company.
Listen, none of these things really matter. The biggest turnout for investors is this thing, the authorized number of shares that was at 29 billion shares authorized, which did get cut by 40 because of the reverse split. But the investors have this shit hanging over the stock. Like you don't know when they spring into selling it and diluting it. And it's going to go down because of that. If you got rid of that, this shit would pump.
You should have told us that before you tax loss harvested.
I did that in October, and I told you when I did it.
What do you mean? I'm about to tax loss harvest. I just gotta get the shares.
I'm about to
We should all
loss.
we should all be tax loss harvest.
They're so low.
Well, yeah, when you're in a no tax jurisdiction, you just have to take the L.
Oh,
Yep.
The price is
Just
so
take the
low,
fucking L.
they won't even give you your shares anymore. They're gonna say it's not worth it.
good. Absolutely fantastic.
You know, that is the problem about being, at least like when you're taxed, you get into a positive, but you're not taxed, it's just all negative. Yeah. Why do I have to fucking hunt them down for my shares? You know what I mean? They're so
seems
common.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
you and I didn't fill in the paperwork.
You
That's why.
really don't have to. Just ask your brokerage account. Like you have a transfer shares from another institution option on Schwab.
Yeah.
Go in there, type in V stock, and fill it out, and they'll do it.
Okay, maybe I'll just do that.
It's really easy.
They'll be like, hey man, we got a request for $9 worth of stock. It says you have 67,000 shares. It's worth a collective $9. I'll be like, yeah, that was me. Yep.
Thank you. Send that over, please.
Thank you. I'm looking at tax loss harvested.
Andrew, I'm going to send you a picture of my tailor just made me something super cool for my watch.
All right, let's see it.
Look at the cuff on this shirt.
Dude, I love it.
So when you bring your arm up, the watch is like perfect visibility.
Hey, where did you see this? I like this.
Yeah, it's cool.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
It's not really a thing.
Wait, so
I was
you've
just
never seen this before? You didn't copy it from somewhere?
He showed me an idea when I was over there. I think it was on an Instagram video or something like that, or a YouTube video or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's try it. Fuck it.
I like this.
Yeah, so you put your arms by your side, or you bring it up, and your watch is in like perfect position where the opening is, so you don't need to roll back the cuff.
Yeah.
figure out today if my new gun is pulling left because the sights are off, or if it's just so fucking tiny that I'm shooting it wrong. I can't tell. That's my mission for today. Which is a good excuse to go back to the range.
Which gun?
Bodyguard 2.0. It's a little teeny tiny, little small pocket gun.
I struggle with my P365, little tiny thing.
I like the P365 too. That's the P365X macro is my main carry gun. But this is for the pocket when you're like wearing swim trunks, you know?
Yeah, I heard about you talking about pocket carry yesterday.
In the desert, we need a swim trunk gun. Put in your board shorts. Gotta stay ready, bro, at the pool, bro. You know? Never know. I like the Glock 43X too. I've been carrying that one as well.
By the way, guys, Casey sent me a picture this morning of him after a long night last night. He was celebrating hard yesterday.
What was he celebrating?
PTR.
So,
What are you, short Bitcoin or something?
He was celebrating because of his iron run yesterday.
looks like he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, Casey was doing blow at 3 in the morning yesterday. Jesus. Oh, there he is. Casey, are you okay, man? We're going to be up this early.
The year is 2031. The Bitcoin price, 179K.
Wait, what year?
Have you killed yourself yet? Bro, I swear to God, if the next run gets us to like 180, I'm gonna be fucking so pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed. I miss the days when Bitcoin was up like fucking a bajillion X. From 2015 to 2017, it was up 100X in 2 years. Those were good times. funny with the benefit of like experience here is I've seen so many people sell Bitcoin, like buy Bitcoin at 1,000, sell it at 5,000, and walk away thinking this is. And what's funny is those same people today will look at me at 73,000 and be like, "You poor son of a bitch." You know, it's like, dude, you sold at 5, dude. It's 73. And they're like, you poor son of a... I remember that pain. I remember what it was like. I've seen them all come and go, you know? Been here a long time. It'll be just, at the end of the day, it'll be just me, Andrew, John Seth, and Michael Saylor. You know? I mean, like, I remember these guys. He used to be a poker guy. His name was Trey. Some sort of a professional poker player. People would be like, was he any good? Not really. No, but I remember him. I remember him well.
He capitulated at 79,000.
That's right. He got sick of this shit at like 200K. He bounced. You know? I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Why do you keep holding, Uncle Hoddle? Well, children, I'm retarded. And obstinate. As fuck. And I'm oppositionally defiant. You know? People tell me not to hodl, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna. Fuck you.
I'm saying it was.
That's what I'm driven by.
Of 26, but no, I was already. What is it called, Huddle? Oppositional defiance syndrome or something?
Oppositional defiant disorder.
Yes, I like
ODD.
that. Yes.
Or in your case, Andrew, it's just called being Slavic.
I'm born with it.
Yeah, it's not a disorder, it's just the way Eastern Europe operates.
It's in my genes.
For the Irish, too. We're also born oppositionally defiant. We're like, yeah, that's what you think I should do? How about fuck you?
There is some sharing of genome between Irish and Ukis.
Is that true? The Celt? Are the Ukrainians Celtic as well?
There's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is expressed in my gene, and it's higher than the Jewish one, so it's real.
I'm very much just split between Celtic and Germanic. Right down the middle. But I noticed some of the Slavic tendencies in my wife and mother-in-law. But they're barely Slavic. Polish is like barely.
Oh, I got a banger of a story for you guys. Heard of billionaire Greg Lundberg? Ex-billionaire who sought to have 50 children with Aryan women sentenced to 12 years in prison. Greg Lundberg, 55, a North Carolina billionaire, spent roughly $30 million on private jets, $21 million in connection with various women, and another $12 million on yacht expenses. Lindbergh siphoned over $2 billion in insurance fraud scheme that stole money meant for retirees and policyholders. Lindbergh would conceal the fraud with sham loans, circulation transactions, and false finances. While federal employees were investigating Lindbergh, Bloomberg News found that he was running father as many as 50 children through a network of surrogacy and egg donation centers. Bloomberg found that Lindbergh specifically persuaded women with blonde hair and blue eyes that former associates described as Aryan. 25 women have been tied to the operation, with some accusing Lindbergh of lying to them, saying the eggs would be donated to an anonymous couple, but instead Lindbergh used them for himself. Bloomberg also found that Lindbergh, a father of 12, spent a lot of money recruiting women through yacht parties, luxury events, and matchmaking services. While operating these events, Lindbergh would run surveillance that conducted background checks and monitor prospective romance partners. Lindbergh sued Bloomberg for defamation, but the case was thrown out by a federal judge in Florida. Court filings revealed the bizarre personal notes about living to 120 with longevity research and cloning. Okay. This goes to show you, some people just shouldn't have money.
Or be alive.
Yep.
Yeah. What happened? No more. Hitler speakers calm. Can you get the coffee? Coffee and Hitler, that's what I need. Dave, why'd you kick Zach, son? Explain yourself, bro.
I haven't seen Zach since Dave kicked him either.
Dave, why'd you kick Zach, bro? Why'd you do it?
He heard the spinning dreidel in the background when he was talking.
Zach is one of the coolest Jews in Clubhouse. Defending Zach. You can take G off, but I'm defending Zach.
Damn.
Take G off, though.
I don't know, man. I think Geoff, he operates from like a different power. Like, I think I take Geoff over Zach, though.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy. Yeah, no, I got super triggered.
And they had me on speaker before they opened up the shop. They called me back.
That's good.
We got Ethan in the house.
They said we called our
We got
moms
Ethan
to ask
in
if
the
they sent a
house.
pizza here. And the people at the store said no. The lady that ordered the pizza said that he would probably say, that's that crazy lady from Florida. They were laughing. They're like, we had your number. So we were going to just, yeah, they called me back. That was funny.
Okay, that's good. I can't believe the pizza shop started laughing about it.
Everybody laughs about it. I mean, these are the unfuck your truck guys. I mean, it's a very small town. Woodward, Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Francie. Um, I love the story that a lot of people don't know about West Virginia and the coal mines, the limestone mines, and all the mining that goes on in that state. And with the pepperoni rolls, how those women back in the day could figure out what to make to get their guys in, and it would still be good by lunchtime. It's amazing. You guys ever get bored? What the story?
So, I'm gonna put something in the chat. If you guys get a chance to look at it today, it probably will piss you off really bad because it's called The Book of the Dead. It's but in the 1930s, they were going to do a hydroelectric project, but they had to tunnel through this big mountain, and there was, I guess, limestone in this mine, and it when it's ground down or messed with, it creates silica dust, and when you breathe, you're breathing in like stuff with little pieces of glass in it, and it like
They're just fine dust particles, and dust particles are rough, so people make it seem like glass, but it's not glass. I think that's what Christine was trying to say earlier.
Okay, I got it. I didn't know, but this book, it lists every person who died in it. These two women in the 1930s. It's the only book, and they did reach a settlement. But the thing that is horrible about this is they did this intentionally, but they mostly brought in black men, knowing what was going to happen, and some Chinese men, because a lot of the China people from China would come to mine here because it was conducive to the mining they were doing there. So, but very few white people. But some of these men like didn't make it 6 months. I mean, it was just you were bleeding, but like these people, they put them in these little shacks that like had dirt floors, and the roofs leaked, and it was the most horrible conditions in the whole world. So I put it in the chat if you want to save it and look at it. It's very infuriating, but the thing is my question is, do we learn from our mistakes? I think a lot we have. I don't know what you Beth think of it. I think we do, and there's a lot of dangerous jobs, like oil rigging, I guess, is that's really dangerous, right?
Mining. That's definitely a dangerous job too.
I agree, it's dangerous.
Just the fact that they use minorities, though, it just, I can't talk about it anymore. It just makes me really angry.
That's why, like, AI robots can be abused, right? Like, you don't want it in a society, let them mind.
So if you shop at Walmart, Chinese slaves make the Walmart product.
Yeah, you're right about that. Oh my goodness.
One thing about mining, though, was that the Chinese that they did hire, they were a smaller, like, if you've ever went to a mine, right, and look at the holes that you had to get through. Now they have little train thingies that can go through them, but back when my grandpa was working in the limestone mines, and my best friend Megan, her dad was too, they had to crawl. There was no other way, and you had to be little.
You still have to do that. It's a lot of mines, especially up in Pennsylvania. Crawl, and it's cold. It's like 45 degrees or something. It's freezing.
Anybody have any See You Next Tuesday stories for our See You Next Tuesday, Rick?
I don't know what that is.
You'll figure out next Tuesday.
You will figure out next Tuesday.
Unless you want to explain it.
I want to call out asshole behavior. Anybody got any asshole behavior they need called out?
Always.
No. But I love the way you
are you in America?
Last time.
Whoa, guys.
It's carnage. Who is carnage?
This hanky panky.
Asshole behavior is making people.
Who is carnage?
Limestone mines.
Is something wrong with the greatest country on earth, Apaya?
That wasn't a bias.
This is not the greatest country on earth. I'm sorry. I'm American, and even I know.
Traitor.
It's carnage. Is that Hank?
So, what is the greatest country on earth if it's not America? That's my favorite question to ask people who say America isn't. Oh yeah, he agrees. And crickets, because they don't have one that's better to give us an example. Perfect.
Australia. The greatest. With all of its flaws and imperfections, it is the greatest country on earth. Come on, now. America is.
Maybe it's
Australia's a penal colony. What are you talking about?
lines, size.
I mean, if you're an emu, it's a great country.
Saying the word penal is really fun.
Australia, I heard that in the 80s, there's a
Colony.
Why do Australians hate didgeridoos? That's my question.
Why do they hate what?
I don't hate didgeridoo. I mean, are you speaking to an Aboriginal or someone racist against Aboriginals?
That's the joke, right? So it's like, they don't hate the Aboriginals, they just hate the didgeridoos that they play, so that's why they did what they did. I thought it was kind of a joke.
I think New Zealand is one of the best countries because it's farther away from Australia than what looks on the map. So, yeah.
It's just hard to be mad at a country where the majority of animals hop.
And
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and they all have those pockets. Even Australian people, have pouches to keep their stuff in. Yeah, I was going to say they even hop. The humans. Yeah. Anytime you're walking around and you're like, I need someone to hold something, your husband's going to be like, yeah, here, put it in my pouch.
These goddamn hoppers.
I know. And then they just run away when you clap. It's just, it's not threatening.
What do you guys think about saying Russia's one of the best countries? I want to see their reaction.
Why don't you go move there, Nar? Go move to Russia, then come back and inform us.
Yeah, sure. If I make it out of the KGB, yeah, sure. Thanks, guys.
Let me know what the food is.
Maybe most beautiful women. They got that going for them.
I will say that I guess, well, they have a close-knit community when it comes to the women in Russia, so I think they are different than other places.
How do we feel about Croatia? You're Croatian? Yes.
Me too. No way.
I am also Croatian.
No way. Shut up. You're joking.
My last name is Giant.
My family's from Dubrovnik.
Oh, really? Mine too.
I don't believe you. 3 Croats in one room, the odds are not making sense right now.
love Gala.
What about like Luxembourg?
I'm changing my reason, Monica. I'm changing my reason.
Yeah, I want to celebrate. There's so much Croatia. That never happens.
We're taking over. We're taking over. Yay!
We just need
Monica's changing her reason too.
Wait, no.
We just need a Weird Al Yankovic in here.
Is he Croatian?
He is Croatian.
For the love of God, please.
Is nothing more than just a metaphor, functionally speaking, right? And if rape is defined, technically speaking, if rape is defined as the forcible sort of like sex from one individual to another, right? Then if that's the
Room, right? There's a cup sitting there waiting for him. He doesn't drink it. Because
Isn't it when he said, I won't drink again until I'm with you guys in the kingdom? Is that what you're talking about?
When he, yeah, so there's the four cups referencing here.
Yeah.
You want me to give the
Can't
information
remember
on
what
the
you
top?
didn't have.
No. I mean, you can, but I know what you're saying. I was just saying, it's
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So they usually like, I think this is mentioned a lot. And this is mentioned in Luke here. Let me post it at the top so you guys know what I'm talking about.
I think that also like mirrors the Galilean marriage thing. That's what he says.
It resembles a symposium. The symposium.
That's why he says he don't know the hour because in the culture only the father is the one that sends the son to go marry the bride. I don't know if you've heard about that as well. That's very interesting.
So this is a Passover ritual, and this is in Exodus 6:4, right? And he says, the first cup is I will bring you out, I will deliver you, I will redeem you, and the last cup is I will take you as my people. So, I just wanted to let you know, because I think a lot of this stuff kind of slips by, even though if you see them using the apologetic. Sometimes, Omar, you're smart enough to ask them, like, what is this? What is the cup? And I think this cup, because they're using a reference, right, to say that he's praying, but yet the same reference is he's saying that he knows that he's going to die. He knows there has to be a sacrifice. So I just find it funny because I hear these like, apologetics going on all the time, and they love bringing this verse up. But the verse is literally talking about him being crucified and dying.
And saying what?
Like, this is the verse where he's bowing and he's praying.
He's
like praying to the Father.
Yeah, saying, he prayed like a Muslim. Look, he bowed down.
Cannot be God and praise
Yes.
God.
And this is about the crucifixion. How is that?
I know that there is explanations for that. How there's his human nature and.
You know what I'm saying, right? Hey, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of that information. It's so nice. Thank you for that.
I don't.
Yeah, we should at least explain it. Explain to them what they. Well, Omar should explain to his friends doing because he doesn't.
I'm not gonna explain anything to anybody. They hate me now.
Why they hate you? Why?
We have theological differences. I think that God is a substance temporal and spatial, and he has direct causal relationship to existence, and there's like a boundary between him and the existence, and he exists in a certain direction and stuff like that, and they think that's like blasphemy. So.
Well, the Trinitarians are going to say that Jesus did this for his ministry, because once he has a glorified body, he doesn't suffer anymore.
No, I'm talking about God, like the Father.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. And that state when he's man before he resurrected, he's in that state. He's in that
right. But
temporal state. Yeah.
For Muslims, there is only like single. Let's call him the Father for convenience sake. I think even if I was a Christian, I would still believe that the Father is temporal and like spatial and like, because I don't believe in the existence of non-concrete, non-temporal and non-spatial concrete objects. That to me, that would be like saying that God is like the number 3, or like that's nothing. Like that's just something in your head. So that's the current difference between me and them right now. Funny thing is that what I'm saying is the entailment of what they're saying. But my sect is like highly substantialist. I'm not going to say physicalist, but I'm going to say substantialists in the modern sense. But they don't like to commit. They tell you like, oh, these words weren't in the Quran and the Sunnah. Yeah, I understand. I get it. The words themselves didn't. But the meaning is clear. Like, there's no dispute that this is what Ibn Taymiyyah believed. If you translate it to modern philosophical language, that's what he believed. I don't know why we're embarrassed of it. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, I've always been a contrarian, so I'm used to it. It's fine.
I think it's better to be that way, so am I. A little bit of a contrarian.
Yeah, I've noticed you're a contrarian as well.
Oh yeah, big time. They hate me for it. I'm too much sometimes.
Yeah, I remember when I opened the room to declare my return to Islam, and I said like, look, I'm not signing any contracts with anybody. I don't want any assumptions. Like, you people gotta calm down. The Salafis were very happy, although I didn't say that I was a Salafi for different reasons, but I was basically mainly agreeing with them. They were happy because a lot of high-profile atheists who came back during the periods were Ash'aris. Ash'aris are sort of like Neo-Platonian, speculative philosophers type thing. So they were happy that a high-profile atheist came back to their sect. I'm like, people, like, be careful. I'm not, like, you might not agree with what I'll say later. Anyway, how are you been doing?
Good. I think that we take more of a literal interpretation of some of these books.
I wouldn't say the Salafis are literalists. They're more, I would say they take the apparent meaning of the word. So, for instance, if you're saying like, I saw a lion on the podium, they wouldn't say that there was a lion, the animal, on the podium. They would say there was like a speaker who's like on fire, like a lion. But they do reject like being too much of like doing.
including you. You are joining your conference as a participant. For a menu of available commands, press star pound. The number is 839-2026. X. And who do I have on this line for complaining?
This is John Kitover.
Hi, Mr. Kitover. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And who do I have on this line for the agency?
Morning, Judge. John Stambro. Is our office's paralegal. I'm the assigned attorney.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. All right, well, we are here for an initial conference. Let me start by just explaining the initial conference is not a hearing. It's not evidentiary. We're not going to be deciding anything on the merits of the case today. It's simply my opportunity to bring the parties together so that I can explain my process and the process and hearings moving forward. We don't set the hearing date today or a pre-hearing date today. We do those things down the road after we fulfill some other steps first. And if there are claims that survive those other steps, then we will have another conference like the one we're having today, where we will set a date for a hearing and a pre-hearing conference. And I will set deadlines for the things you need to provide to me before those conferences. But for today, we're going to talk about best modes of contact with me, some email protocol. We'll discuss some preliminary questions that I have that I want to go through with each party. We'll talk about a process called discovery. If we need to get to that point, that is a process by which the parties can fill any evidentiary or information gaps that might exist in the report of investigation as it exists today. It's a process that occurs between the parties and that you don't involve me. But I'll talk more about that specifically and define some terms that are used in discovery and if we decide that that process will be necessary. We can also talk about any preliminary motions that the parties think need to be filed in this case before we would get to a hearing or a pre-hearing conference stage. I will want to talk to the parties about settlement before we get off the phone to see where you all are, to begin negotiation, if you're interested in negotiating, which is where you are in that. I want to remind the parties that hearings are closed, confidential proceedings. They're not open to the public. And even though it's a dispute that's brought you before me today, we need to maintain civility and respect for one another in all matters moving forward. Being prompt and on time, we all were reasonably within that 10 o'clock start time, so that's good. If we set any deadlines today, I want you to be mindful of what's on your calendar already. I don't want to set deadlines that conflict with things you know already are on your calendar that would prevent you from making that deadline. However, after we set the deadline, if something intervenes in a way that rises to the level of good cause for extending a deadline, you can make a request to me. Before you make that request to extend a deadline, please reach out to the other party, find out what their position is. Do they want to join you in the request? Do they object to the request? Do they agree with the request but they don't want to join you? That sort of information needs to be in your request, as well as a clear indication of what deadline you're asking me to extend and in what way you want it extended. If you're asking me to postpone a conference, which is this one that we're having today, you need to also additionally, when you confer with the other party, make sure you're talking about what date would work for you alternatively. If I agree that you have good cause for what you're asking me to do, and good cause, let me just explain, for either an extension or a postponement would require you to show something more than just kind of general routine busyness. If something unexpected, an emergency of some nature, an illness, an injury, medical procedure, unexpected, work assignment that's taking you out of state or out of the country or, or something of that nature. It's not, like I said, just a routine thing. So you would need to make sure you state that reason in your request so that I can determine whether good cause exists for what you're asking me to do. If you need to communicate with me, the best way to do that is by email. I can't have one-sided communications with parties. So calling me, unless you're both on the call, would not be something that I could engage in. Also, the other problem with calling me is often I'm in conferences like this one or I'm in a hearing and I can't answer the phone. So it's going to go to voicemail. You're going to leave me a message that's going to get transcribed to email, and then I'm going to be responding to the email anyway. So I just find it more efficient that parties will reach out to me via email first. When you do email me, please make sure that you're including the case name, meaning the party name, as well as the EEOC number. I need both of those things to be able to be clear on emailing me and why they're emailing me. I can't have, again, one-sided communication, so it is very important that you both are included in any emails to me. Also, make sure, since we are using email as that primary mode of communication, that you're checking your junk folders, your spam folders. In the subject line with the case names and the case number, if you could include a word or two about why it is you're reaching out to me, that would be helpful as well. When you upload something into the official case file in the for a complainant, that would be through the portal or the agency through FedSep, make sure that you're then attaching that something to an email and send it to me. Two reasons. One, if there's a deadline looming and you're up against that deadline, I will accept the email on the date and time that you sent it, as long as you sent it before the deadline passed, regardless of what technology errors you might encounter or glitches, whether it's on technology on your side or on the portal side. You will have a little bit of a safeguard because your email, if it's received timely, will satisfy your timeliness requirement. It helps me because the system doesn't provide me with any sort of notice when things are uploaded into the folder. So that email will act as my alert and notice that there's activity in the case. I do want to confirm that we're using the best email contact. Mr. Kitover, is your best email johnkitover2025@gmail.com?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And for Mr. Dumbrow, of course, we have your irs.treas.gov. Do you want Ms. Silas included on communications with you?
We have a centralized mailbox that we include. I'm not sure if you have it from prior cases, but it's GLSPHI.
irscouncil.pros.gov?
Yes, same after the
Okay, we'll be sure to include that. But do you want Ms. Silas included as well, or no?
If you include me in the docket mailbox, that's sufficient.
That's enough? Okay. I'll make sure I put that in my order then, and it'll be there for both parties. So Mr. Kitover, make sure when you email Mr. Dumbrow that you include that GLS email address as well. It'll be in my order, so you'll see it there. And of course, when I email you both my order, you'll have it there as well. All right. Mr. Dumbrow, any concerns with service by email as I've described?
No, Judge, no concerns.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Kitover, do you have any concerns with receiving and sending things by email in this case?
No, Judge.
Okay. I want to go ahead and do a little bit of a preliminary exercise. When I do this exercise, I do it one party at a time. That's mostly to make sure I'm not misunderstanding who's talking, as well as to make sure we're not talking over one another. So don't read anything into who I start with. If I don't start with you, please be patient. I will circle back to you and ask you primarily the same question. So if you hear something that you think differently about, or you disagree with, or
Hello?
you just, maybe you agree, but you have additional
Hello?
information you want to provide, just wait until I
Hello?
switch gears or until I direct you, or direct
Hello?
my questions to you specifically.
Hello.
I am going to start with the agency. I want to first confirm my understanding of the record with regard to what was dismissed after Mr. Kitover went to an EO counselor. When I look at the section for claims to be investigated, which starts at PDF page 49, I do see that there are several things that were not accepted as timely claims. There were, well, let's do it this way first. There were some things that, while they were accepted, meaning B, C, and D, they involved discrete incidences that occurred prior to, I'm just reading out directly verbatim from the ROI, footnote 2 on PDF page 49. Occurred prior to February 7th, so untimely raised beyond the 45-day time frame. But it appears that these untimely discrete events are still considered as part of the harassment claim. I also saw that there were some other claims, however, primarily apparently F, G, H, and I, that were dismissed, and we're not going to go through every single aspect of why they were dismissed. My main question is that the universe of things that the agency didn't accept?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Gombra.
Yes, Judge. I have 5 accepted claims for harassment claims, not a disparate treatment claim. Several that are discrete acts. I read the footnote as well, and I have those 5 as the accepted claims, and then I have several that were dismissed based on all the bases that are in the acceptance letter.
Okay. So nowhere else in the record do we have any, well, it might be referenced, but there's no other aspect of what he raised that were dismissed. Is that right?
As far as I know, it's what's in the letter.
Okay. And what's your position, Mr. Don Brown, on the completeness of this record? It's over 700 pages. Do you believe that it's complete and no discovery is necessary? Do you believe it's complete but some limited discovery might be helpful? Or do you think there are significant gaps that are going to require some discovery to fill?
I would say number 2.
Okay.
Limited discovery on items like any documents related to damages, but more than what's in the investigative file on pages 116 and 17 for the comp damages affidavit, and more documents regarding the nature of the disability, since there's a disability claim, more than what's on pages 78 and 79 of the affidavit. And I would like to request permission then to get documents regarding disability. I wanted to know if there were any grievance filings, since in certain places in the investigative file and the administrative file, there's a reference to possible grievance filings, but I wasn't completely sure about that. I also wanted to ask about any audio recordings or statements. Those were Mr. Kitover mentioned those to me in a settlement demand, and I believe they might be in the investigative file, but I'm not sure. I wanted to know a little bit more about the prior EEO activity than what's on pages 79
grievances, so we don't need to belabor that. You've stated your position. You're not sure if there were, but because there are some references in the ROI union activity, that's something that we probably need to figure out. And in a moment, I'm going to ask Mr. Kitover, and we'll see what he says. And if we're still uncertain, then we can talk about a plan moving forward. Is there? I didn't see any reason or anything raised in his accepted claims that made me think we needed to talk about Merit System Protection Board issues. Is that accurate, Mr. Dunbrow?
Yes, Judge, that is accurate.
Okay. Mr. Kitover, I want to start in reverse order with you. Are you familiar with the Merit System Protection Board?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. You don't have an appeal pending before them on any claims involved in this case, do you?
No, Judge.
Okay. Let me ask you, are you aware of any grievances filed or pending concerning the accepted claims in this case?
No, Judge.
Okay. And let me make sure I'm understanding. Do you believe there were some, but you just don't know the status of them, or are you saying there weren't any filed?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question one more time, Judge?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you know what the scope of your no is with regard to grievances. Is your position that you don't know if any were filed and or are pending, or is your position you know for a fact there are none?
As far as I know, there's none.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the record then in this report of investigation. Do you believe in the three, and these aren't hard, fast scenarios, there may be a fourth or a fifth scenario, but do you believe there are significant gaps in this record that need to be filled by the parties? Do you believe that the record's fairly complete, but there are a few things that you think would make it better? Or do you believe the record's complete and you don't think anything is needed to prove your claims?
No, I think there's limited amounts of additional information that need to be included, particularly a sexual harassment grievance, which ultimately led to the retaliation. And that original and first sexual harassment grievance or complaint is not included in the record.
Okay. And when was that sexual harassment complaint or grievance, as you call it?
I believe it was in
Just roughly, what year?
2020.
Okay. All right. That's yeah. I mean, that's an interesting concept. It's possible that it's not in the record because it doesn't have any relevancy to the claims that were accepted. But that discovery, in these administrative processes, I'm not bound by the federal rules of discovery. So, if you all were in federal court or state court, you might find discovery handled a little differently, and there might be different scope of discovery. In this case, I will likely, based on what you both have said, permit some reasonable discovery. So to the extent you think that has some relevancy, and I don't know what Mr. Dombrow's position would be if you made a request for something that far back, but if you can make a good argument for why it's relevant to the claims that were accepted, discovery is a little more lenient than what you might be able to use in a hearing. So, in other words, while you sometimes can ask for things that arguably should be produced, you may find yourself with a hurdle down the road in terms of being able to use it at a hearing. So just keep that in mind. Is there anything else, Mr. Kitover?
No, that's it, Judge.
with regards to the things that were not accepted by the agency when they issued their acceptance in this case of your claims, are you in agreement with what Mr. Brown and I discussed about the universe of those dismissed items?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Are you intending to seek reinstatement for anything that was dismissed by the agency?
Yes, Judge. It has to do with what was previously mentioned about the sexual harassment grievance in 2020.
Right. Do you have any, and we're not going to argue it, like I said, I'm not going to rule on that in this conference, but I need to determine whether I want to give you a period of time to make your argument in writing. So sometimes complainants, when they come to these conferences, they obviously don't like no one likes that their claim was dismissed, but they don't have any legal reason that they know of to challenge what the agency did. In that case, a request to reinstate would not likely be successful. If you have, though, a legal reason why you think the agency got it wrong, then I would be happy to give you an opportunity. Generally, I'll give up to 10 days for a complainant to put their argument in writing, and then the agency would have 10 days to respond, and then I would make a ruling just based on the party's position. So what I'm asking you is, do you have any legal basis to challenge the agency's dismissal?
Yes, I believe I do, Judge.
And what's your legal basis, just generally?
Constitutional and Civil Rights Act.
Can you be more specific?
I'd be happy to put it in the statement, but I don't actually have my notes prepared or pulled up from previous correspondence.
Okay. I'll give you the 10 days, and then Mr. Dunbrow, you have 10 days to respond to him, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Does that make sense, Mr. Kitover?
Yes, Judge.
All right. I limit that to 5 pages. It's got to be double-spaced, at least 12-point font, and that's the same for any response. So you'll see that in my order. Let's go back to discovery just for a minute. Mr. Kitover, are you claiming as relief in this case? So if you're successful in meeting your burden's by preponderance of the evidence, meaning you have to tilt the scales just past 50% in establishing that the wrong that you allege actually occurred and was unlawful. And if you're successful in doing that, then you then have the burden of proof in establishing that any damages you claim were caused by the agency's unlawful action. So you have kind of 2 steps you have to get past by preponderance of the burden, or preponderance of the evidence. My question to you is, if you're successful on that first hurdle, right, of establishing liability, meaning unlawful conduct as alleged, are you claiming relief for any sort of physical or emotional, mental injury? And let me try to distinguish what I'm talking about. So under the EEOC Management Directive, there is language that requires the agency to seek typically written approval before they ask for limited medical records. And the medical records can be for establishing when we have disability cases. If there's not enough evidence in the record to conclusively establish that the disability that's claimed, then the agency can seek limited discovery into that. Not your entire medical records, not for every disability that you may or may not have had, years prior or since. It's at the time that you made these allegations concern, were you disabled or was there a disability, since you're claiming as a basis. But there's a second area that agencies can request some limited medical records, and that's if a complainant is seeking relief for an actual injury or harm, so either physical, mental, emotional. That typically is involving ongoing injury, a diagnosis from a doctor, a prognosis, treatment plans. Those sorts of things usually signal that someone is seeking relief for the type of injury that would open the door for an agency to properly seek those sorts of records. If a complainant is just claiming a general emotional distress, usually that's indicated by I think I'm entitled to relief for the anger that the discrimination caused me, the humiliation, the embarrassment, the sadness, my stomach hurt and I was unable to sleep. But it didn't rise to the level of an actual ongoing harm that was diagnosed.
Oh no,
etc.
I am fully R-word now.
So that latter category of just negative emotions usually does not open the door for an agency to seek limited medical records. So with that explanation in mind, are you able to say one way or the other where your claim for relief might fall? Does it fall towards the side of actual injury, or does it fall towards the side of negative emotions?
Hi, Judge. It involves actual injury and not emotions.
Okay. Then, Mr. Dunbrow, I am going to grant your request to seek limited medical records as to the claim disability and as to the damages. Again, that's not an open, carte blanche ability to seek an entire individual's medical history and records. It's got to be pretty specifically tailored to the claimed injury and the claimed disability. Of course, the complainant, if they think a discovery request is too broad or beyond the bounds of what's been permitted, they can always file a motion for protective order with the caveat, and this is a caveat to both parties, if any party files a motion for protective order, you should probably be clear that it's not something you want to use in support of either your proof, if you're the complainant, or your defense, if you're the agency. Because if you convince me that a protective order is appropriate, that means it doesn't come in a hearing. It's protected from discovery. Discovery, and we'll go more in depth in a moment, maybe in this conference, maybe not, but we'll see. But if we do get to the part where we set some discovery limits and deadlines, just remember, discovery is a process that happens between the parties. You don't send me your requests, you don't send me your responses. The only time you would involve me is if there was a dispute that you tried in good faith to resolve yourselves and couldn't. So just keep that in mind. All right. Let's talk about the issue and make sure we're all on the same page with the issue that's been accepted. And again, if we look in the ROI, we've got the acceptance partial dismissal section that starts on 49 that captures what the agency accepted. It's also then restated in the investigative summary, which begins on PDF 57. The actual statement of the issue is further down. Give me just a second. It is at PDF 62. And as I understand the statement of claims and issues to be investigated, it's whether the agency subjected complainant to harassment based on sex, male, disability, and in retaliation for prior protected activity when A, in March 2024, complainant supervisor S1 called complainant a, in quotes, man whore in front of a coworker, and since then S1 regularly communicates with complainant in an insulting, degrading, and passive-aggressive manner. B, in April 2024, management informed complainant he would no longer be working in the Duluth project and the motor pool vehicle program. C, in April 2024, S2 informed complainant he was going to investigate complainant's time and attendance. D, on dates from May 1st, 2024 to the present, complainant has been charged absent without leave, in parentheses, AWOL. And E, in March 2025, S2 stated if he sees complainant at work, he's going to punch him in the throat, in quotes. Mr. Kitover, is that the issue that you understand is to be heard and resolved through the Terrence process?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Dumbrow, are you in agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Kitover, do you have any other EEO matters that are pending either at the investigative level with the agency or with another administrative judge?
No, Judge.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you both. I'm going to start with the agency first. You know, when a complainant has indicated that they want me to reconsider some dismissed claims, sometimes it makes sense to hold off on discovery just long enough to resolve that. Because sometimes if we reinstate claims, it can affect how much or how little discovery or, you know, what the discovery period is. But sometimes the claims are such that even if we reinstate them, you know, it doesn't impact discovery that much in terms of the limits and the duration. Do you have an opinion, Mr. Dumbrow, on which of those two scenarios you think this case falls into? If Mr. Kitover is successful in convincing me that his dismissed claim or claim, you know, part, if he's even partially successful, do you believe that would warrant more discovery or different deadlines and limits on discovery?
Judge, I would agree with you that it would be better to hold off on discovery until we know if there are any additional claims. Like, for example, I think G is what we were talking, is what Mr. Kitover was talking about with his other complaints or grievance. So while there are questions that we could ask each other or that the agency could ask that aren't part of the dismissed claims, I think that there could be some additional ones that come from having any dismissed claims potentially reinstated, especially G.
Okay. Mr. Kitover, do you agree with Mr. Dumbrow, or do you feel otherwise?
No, I agree. I think limited discovery is fine, Judge.
Right, but the question is, do you agree that we should hold off on setting deadlines and limits until we've determined what may or may not be added back into the case?
I'm really either way because we've already determined, I guess, what has been accepted by the counselor. So if this is not admitted, I mean, I'm still prepared to proceed, but I think based on the importance of it in terms of being the starting point of my claims, that, you know, we can hold off. I mean, it's fine by me.
Right. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and let the request for reinstatement play out. Again, you know, that doesn't add that much more time to it. I give you each the 10-day period. So Mr. Kitover, again, what you'll see in my order is you'll have 10 days from the date of my order. And I believe I can get my order out today. So you'll have 10 days to make your arguments on why what you think should be reinstated. And then Mr. Dumbrow will get 10 additional days to respond. It usually doesn't take me that long, depending on what's going on in my calendar, to take a look at those two positions and get you a ruling. Let's go ahead and hold off, but let's set a date certain when we'll all come back for another conference. It'll be a little shorter. cover, but we'll basically know what our scope of the issue is, right? It'll either be the same as we addressed today, if you're unsuccessful. But if you're successful, there will be things added back in, and then we can make informed decisions on how much discovery is appropriate and what the length of time discovery should be. And then we can also set a date for any other motions that the parties think are appropriate. In doing that, so I want to build in at least the 20 days, the 28th. Let's see. Let's look at the week of June 22nd. Do the parties have availability? I have pretty good availability on the 23rd, the 24th, or the 25th, either before 11 or after 3. I'm going to start with Mr. Kitover. Is there a particular day that week and time that works for you?
Either of those days work, and after 3 p.m. would be great.
Would be better. Okay. Mr. Dumbo, what about you?
Judge, the best day of those 3 is June 25th. I'm sorry, what was the time? I didn't hear the time.
It would have to be after 3 for me, so let's just say 3:30.
After
and that's
3
Eastern time. Yep.
So 2:30 Central.
Well, whatever time it is.
Dr. Adams, by the way, this is the launch of our big back line.
But it's 10:39 where I am
Man
right
Whore. That would be our first product in our catalog. It'll be a whole line of products dedicated to man whores.
So at 3:30
Don't you scold me.
Eastern time.
This is the launch of our big back line. Drewski's endorsing it.
We will know the scope.
Drewski's an investor, by the way.
Claims, and we'll be able to move on with scheduling discovery and any other motions. Does that make sense, Mr. Kitover?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Does that make sense, Mr. Dunbrow?
Yes, Judge Lego.
Okay. Just taking a note here to make sure I get the date down right. All right. So the only thing left that I want to touch base with you all on, and then is discovery. Mr. Kitover, have you sent a demand to Mr. Dunbrow, to the agency?
Yes, Judge.
This case came to hearing?
Yes, Judge. We've had 2 back and forths.
Okay. And was the last back and forth to you, or were you sending them something?
It was to me, of no settlement.
Okay. Mr. Dunbrow, were there some sticking points, or what's the agency's position?
Just that the demand was not something that the agency was willing to provide. The first demand was for $230,000, and the second demand was for $160,000.
Okay. Does the agency have any authority?
I was not given any authority by the agency.
Does the agency take some sort? I guess I'm just trying to get a sense of where you are preliminarily. Are you saying that the agency has no interest in settlement whatsoever, or are you saying the agency just needs to see what you need, that additional information that you discussed in discovery? What's your position on that?
I suppose if anything could, and I could obviously have multiple discussions with management. As of right now, management did not have any interest in pursuing settlement on those terms and didn't authorize me to submit a counteroffer.
Okay. Just keep in mind, negotiation is a back and forth, right? So I'm always a little curious there, a party, and it happens on both sides at various stages, where somebody says, I didn't like their offer, so no, and then you just walk away. That's the negotiation stops, obviously. I mean, that's just, there's no way parties can find the middle ground that they need to arrive at to be able to resolve a case informally if one party just stops because they don't like what they heard. The if both parties are interested in resolving this short of going through the hearings process, which as you can see even from today, there are multiple stages and steps. It's not a fast process. It takes time and energy and emotion. Then the best way to do that is to continue talking. You get something you don't like, okay, then put on paper what you could do. Again, the other side may not like that, but then it's on them to come up with something less than what they originally sent you, or different than what they sent you. It doesn't always have to be just about money. Sometimes cases will resolve where the money is not what either party was hoping for, but maybe there was some non-monetary aspect that had value to a party that the other party could do. So it takes creativity, it takes patience. If you all are interested in resolving this together, you have to be reasonable, you have to continue talking. It happens between the parties. You don't involve me, similarly to discovery. If you find that you're involved in negotiation, but you feel like you're just not getting anywhere or you're stuck on something, and both parties believe a conference would be helpful, you can request a settlement conference. All I need from parties to be able to refer this case to one of my colleagues who would act as a settlement conference judge is a statement that you both think a conference would be helpful. I can't set a conference where one party doesn't want one, or where one party might want one, but they just don't think it's going to be helpful. That's not going to be a good use of anyone's time. So, all you have to do is represent that you think it'll be helpful. So I just wanted to put that out there for both of you. Mr. Kitover, do you have any questions on anything we've discussed today, or do you have anything else you want to raise today?
No, Judge. I think it's been very thorough. Thank you very much, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dunbar, do you have any questions on anything we've said today or anything else you want to raise?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay. Well, I appreciate both of your participation today. We can adjourn, and I will get you your order before the end of the day. If you have questions on it, please make sure that you're addressing those questions to me, include the other side, but do so sooner as opposed to later. Don't wait until you're up against the deadline. You may run into a situation where I'm not available, and then you just, again, you have to do the best you can without the benefit of my clarification. So, review it when you get it or as soon as practical, and then make sure you're asking your questions or reaching out with any inquiry you might have on anything in the order sooner as opposed to later. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Big back, big back, big back, big back, big back. We're big back, baby.
Do da 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 do da dee. I think you're in love with me. Do da 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 do da do. I think I love you too. Do da 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 do da dee. I think you're in love with me.
Big back, big back, big back, big back, big back, big back, big back. Yeah. Big back. We're bringing it back, baby.
Big back,
Big back, big back, big back,
big
big.
loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt. My big bag has no room. Big bag, 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 big bag. I might just eat a Big Mac. Might just order DoorDash. Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah. Now, can we run that back?
Big back, baby. It's a big back.
Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big bag has no room. Big bag, 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 big bag. Might just eat a Big Mac, might just order DoorDash. Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah. Now can we run that back? Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big back, baby. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining me. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Bless up. Stay strong. Move fast. Big back. Coming back. The big back. Big back.
Important to your case and totally changes everything about the treatment. Like I don't know. Oh, by the way, I just went to the Congo and got scratched by something, right? And then you're back in England and you're shivering and they don't know what to do. And you tell the doctor that, and you tell the AI that, and the AI just decides to ignore it. Just the attention mechanism just says, oh, fuck it. Who cares? He just went on holiday. I won't focus on that. And the whole diagnosis was fucked. And or the other way around, you didn't tell it you went to the Congo, and it imagined you did. And then it started diagnosing based on the idea you went to the Congo. You never told it that. And then you query it, like, why the fuck are you saying this? Oh, you said you went to the Congo. No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I'm terribly sorry. No, you didn't. I'm here like a pregnant girl. They're the two things. They're the two kind of catch-phrases. Oh, and they're totally fixable. I gotta tell. Who's up? Who's there?
Yeah, I think it's going to get better. But, you know, we have to send things to the doctors. You know, they might not do their due diligence in researching it. Or maybe they can't read the cursive writing and they miss the crucial type of thing. But
At the gym today, abs coming in.
Exactly.
See that definition
And we can have the best of both worlds. Have the deterministic ability to do things perfectly and the slightly more creative, slightly non-deterministic, like LLM style thinking. You can have those working. For example, there's a really dumb
Every devil got to flee. You don't have no reason. I'm bold as a lion. I don't fear no evil.
Don't think of a blue elephant. Everyone's now thinking of a fucking blue elephant, right? There's no way to tell it not to use M dashes without mentioning M dashes, which makes it much more likely to use M dashes.
Exactly.
It's completely impossible. But there is a solution, and that's called a deterministic hook. So if you're using a more sophisticated tool like Claude Code or Codex or something, you can just put something called a hook in. It'll write it for you. Just say, write me a
Take a look at this. You've probably never seen someone this incredible. Just because he had an argument with his wife, he packed his bags in a fit of anger and went deep into the mountains to live alone. What no one expected was that he chose to build a house in an abandoned She didn't use any modern machinery at all. The whole structure was built using high-quality wood and rattan. From measuring and cutting to the final construction, every single step was done completely by hand. It has to be said, this man's building skills are truly one of a kind. As it turns out, he had grown tired of the 9-to-5 lifestyle. He wanted to use the savings he built up over the years to return to the countryside and start a new life. However, his wife strongly opposed the idea. In her eyes, he had a stable job in the big city with a promising future. She hoped he would stay focused on his career, work toward promotions, and earn a higher income. Because of this, the couple had a heated argument. In a moment of anger, he packed his bags and headed deep into the mountains. He wanted to find a life that truly belonged to him. At first, his wife thought it was just a temporary weakness. She believed he would come back home in a few days, defeated and depressed. He even prepared himself to persuade him to compromise and return. But to her surprise, months passed with no news at all. Worried, she decided to go into the mountains to find him. But when she finally arrived, what she saw completely stunned her. The man had everything in a wooden cabin, perfectly organized. He chopped his own firewood, cooked his own meals, and even brewed his own wine. Eating healthy, drinking freely, living a life that was both free and fulfilling. He wasn't trying to hardship at all. This left his wife both frustrated and alone. Now, let's take a look at how he built this house, step by step. The entire process is truly. At this point, the exquisite wooden house is complete. Although the video lasts only a few minutes, in reality, this man spent a total of 7,746 hours to finish it. So please show your support for true craftsmen. Your support is the motivation behind our creation. Thank you so much for watching. If the full score is 100 points, how many points would you give this house?
And it goes off in very interesting funnily enough, he didn't write the final marker. The point is, you can get that
I think that's what you do is I consider that in a safe environment for kids that I get to choose. I always got to choose them, usually my daughter. So I get it.
She might have thought it was funny. You never know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she did. But when my daughter wouldn't do her homework or she got in trouble at school, I would beat her severely, but not with physical violence. I would take her to this 30-degree hill and make her do up downs because I understand that she's young and she's got these endorphins and been sitting around, and she behaved much differently and much more calm and rational when I would wear her body out and her mind would relax, and people would see me outside, running with my daughter, and she's crying and whimpering and being overly dramatic, and I'm saying, get up that hill. If you want your phone back, if you want your privileges back, you're going to have to go up and down this hill another 5 times. But, she ended up becoming very successful and well disciplined, but I get it, yeah, people think
that's
that.
interesting though. That's completely. I've never made my kids do anything, apart from not run in front of cars and things. But similar result. Yeah, I mean, she at the end of the day, she didn't enjoy that. Although she laughed at it and said, run it like a drain. That she didn't enjoy that photo, so that end video. So she's like, make one of yourself. So I did make one of myself. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just delete it then. I mean, the point was testing. The process was testing the AI guardrails because, can you get it to do things that it thinks it's not allowed to do, like make a demeaning what it calls a demeaning video.
So I didn't make my daughter do it. I made her make the decision. So when you misbehave, you lose your phone privileges for a week. But how can you get your phone privileges back? Let's go run the hill of death. So she decides, I said, well, you can have your phone back, but in order to get your phone back, you have to decide to run with me. And so she would actually make the decision. She didn't have to do it, but she would always choose to do it.
That's fascinating. I'd like to talk about the empty space as a concept in terms of enlightenment, if I may. So, in terms of the empty space, if you are to ponder and to think about space, the vacuum, the distance between object A and object B, it actually creates object A and object B, because without the space, you can't have the object. So space and object are one. They're connected. Opposite ends maybe of the same stick, but they're polar. And so space is a little bit like the ocean, meaning it's a reservoir. It's the analogy would be your emotions or your concepts and your thoughts. So, my big complaint about Elon Musk is that he keeps pushing propaganda to get Americans to invest their tax dollars into moon lunar colonies. And to me, if you understand space, you would understand that we already technically are on the moon, because it's one system. And to waste our money on lunar colonies when we don't even have housing for tens of millions of Americans, it's ludicrous. It's anti-American. It's anti-patriotic, and it's really just a grift to keep federal dollars flowing to Elon Musk, SpaceX, etc. And Elon Musk actually, he's like a flat earther, meaning that he's grifting, and you should call him out on it, because it's your future, and America is its own country. I know we're in a global community of countries, but we have a shared legacy and a shared destiny, and it's not on the fucking moon. So, call it out for what it is: a scam, a grift, a fraud. That's what space can be. It doesn't have to be that way. I know space is so important. We have all these satellites in geosynchronous orbit that make this communication possible, probably right now. But, putting data centers in your backyard so Mark Zuckerberg can make another 10 billion. Meanwhile, the water in your house goes out and there's no compensation from Mark Zuckerberg as he's on his $300 million super yacht and his $60 million follow-on carrier yacht. So
Okay,
is that it? Is that good enough? I hope you guys liked it. You could call it empty space if you
That was
want.
awesome. That was awesome. Like, it's actually interesting because, like, when I listen to you as somebody who's, like, studied and well-versed and in all of this, I really appreciate how you, like, stuck with Shunyata there and then gravitated towards Elon Musk and his grift. You do provide a great deal of service for people, even if they're unable to realize
I'm
it
about to get
within
kicked from the
themselves.
room.
And you do a great job with a sense of humor. And I would say just don't harass people, and you'll get a better response, because like somebody like you could really make traction on social media if you actually did it the right way. However you're doing it right now, whatever you choose to do, just
Hello?
passion.
Hello?
I support you. You're incredibly intelligent. And if anybody was listening at the beginning, if you didn't comprehend or realize, yeah, sometimes it takes lifetimes to comprehend that.
Yes, sometimes it can take lifetimes to comprehend that Elon Musk is a flat earther.
No, Shunyata. It's actually like a really hard concept to comprehend intellectually, and even an intellectual conception of Shunyata is not a direct realization of the experience.
I'm just repeating what he said. Quote.
Yeah, but I was bringing attention to
I heard what
the value of what he said before you want to pay attention to the shit to just bring shit into the room.
It's not.
Hold on, just a second. Please allow me to speak for 2 minutes uninterrupted. I've been listening for 20 minutes. I haven't said a single fucking word. Yes, you're right. I'm simply paying attention to what he said. If you want to bang on me for that, that's fine. But I'm going to emphasize 2 things that he said. Elon Musk is a flat earther.
I see no evidence of that whatsoever. The second thing that he said, which I find no evidence whatsoever, Elon Musk is spreading propaganda. Now, if he wants to provide evidence that Elon Musk is a flat earther, I'm all ears. If he wants to provide evidence that Elon Musk is spreading propaganda, I'm willing to listen to the actual propaganda that he claims he's spreading. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was just bringing attention to what he said about shunyata, which is translated into English as emptiness. And that's what I was complimenting on. I would think that rhetoric would have been a better emphasis. Like there's this Nobel Prize winning economist, Robert Shiller. He wrote a book called Narrative Economics. And people use rhetoric and narrative in order to set a story to support their economic purposes and to make money. And this is what Elon is doing. So you can fact check that all you want, but I would pay attention to Robert Shiller's work in narrative economics. You want a you want a Nobel Prize for economics for a reason.
And I would pay attention to what people say in this room because they haven't won a Nobel Peace Prize.
No, I've paid attention to what he said, and I actually commented on both parts of it. So yeah, and isn't it interesting we were talking about attention with large language models? And isn't it interesting how natural language processing works and what people actually choose to pay attention to while they're listening to another person speak?
Yes, exactly. I agree with you completely.
Well, let me just say this. The evidence for the narrative economics is all over Elon Musk's X space, or X account, if you do want to see the evidence. And unlike an actual trial in the real world, where actually I just got off of a conference call and a status hearing with a judge and attorney because I'm suing the federal government, this is not an actual courtroom, Steve. This is a conference call for strokers. It's called Dinner for Schmucks. Welcome to your reality. Hello? Oh, hello! Because even
and see, dude, this is what you're defending, dude.
Space.
I actually got here in the space that I'm occupying right now. I did not have a chance to respond, but did not support what he said.
I appreciate that. I don't support what he said either.
Well, I would just quote Pro Lyrical here, who yesterday said he doesn't give an F about this app and the stupid people here because he's got a life and he's running it, and this app is tangential, just a little sidekick piece in his little back pocket. So, if you didn't hear what I said, I'll quickly give you the recap. Elon Musk is a propagandist. His X account, the biggest one on the platform, propagandizes lunar development. The only way to pay for lunar development is through taxation and borrowing. As an American, as a voter, and as a politician, I stand up and reject Elon Musk's vision of because he wants to. This is his logical reasoning for why he wants lunar colonies, to preserve and maintain continuity of human consciousness, and he wants us to be multiplanetary to maintain our consciousness. That's what he says. Now you tell me about the people on Skid Row that want to maintain their consciousness but have no option of survival except on the street, when we could very easily build millions of affordable housing units in this country within just a couple of years. And it's just so simple. But the problem is it's the Haiti scam over and over and over again. California and the Democrats there, they rip off the NGOs. Nothing gets built.
I apply it equally, though. I don't know if you do. So, do you think the $1 billion for the ballroom could be better spent on the homelessness as well? Because I know you're a Trump fan. Are you able to say that as well?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't care about a stupid ballroom at the White House. Who gives a fuck?
appreciate that. I appreciate it because you do got to apply it kind of equally. And
But the thing about the ballroom is,
the difference is, I do think there is. You can make an argument for a different kind of return on investment with the stuff that goes on with the moon. And while I do think a lot of it is posturing and posing and always has been, there's certainly very real science that takes place. So I mean, it's not all.
No, I agree.
And just like this app, while you're very correct, I do take it as entertainment, like I think you do. There is also very real conversation that takes place, and so it's more fun to engage in the conversation when it's stimulating. Sometimes stimulating is because of the ridiculous things that people say. That sometimes can be entertaining. But if we had our druthers, we'd probably all rather be in rooms that are both entertaining, stimulating, and could bring up ideas that we've never got to think about, as opposed to just people screaming and hollering or whatever. But that's especially when you're reminded of how waste of time Clubhouse can be for anything other than a radio station that you choose to interact on when you like what's on the station.
And speaking of the ridiculous things that people say, you still haven't addressed the two things that I repeated that you said. Number one, Elon Musk is a flat earther, and number two, Elon Musk is spreading rhetoric.
Yeah.
So if you choose to retract those two
No,
statements,
you don't understand.
then
I'm
we're
not.
all good.
I'm not saying he's a. I'm not saying he's a.
If you choose not to retract those two statements, then I'm going to continue to call you on your bullshit.
Okay, let me retract the flat earther, because he's not a flat earther in the sense that we know them here on Clownhouse and on other platforms. I mean that flat earthers don't understand what they're even talking about, what they're trying to express, but have they have a linguistic language incapability. Is they're trying to talk about philosophy, and they believe that economic and equity and it should be flat, meaning that we should have real equality. But they are actually, that's why I'm saying Elon is deranged in the same way. He's an actual flat earther, so let me retract that. And when I say rhetoric, I just mean propaganda. Elon Musk is the spreader of some of the most anti-American propaganda out there, which is to continue taxing and borrowing from us to support his utopian dream fantasy of maintaining human consciousness on lunar colonies. It is the epitome of anti-American stupidity. And he is an elite liberal intellectual like many of you in this room who don't know how to defend your home, don't know how to defend a perimeter, don't know how to have a moral. I know some of you agree with me that I think the biggest problem is our immoral currency. Yeah, immoral currency. You know it, I know it. 40 trillion in debt, $7 trillion a year in budget. It's outrageous. I land. Thank you, John.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of outrage at Elon for things like that. You have an outrage for spending taxpayer money on the moon, on a lot of things like that. And and when asked about the ballroom, you don't care about that. Yeah, you don't care about that. I think you let him off the hook a little bit when you tried to pin him down on whether there's any consistency in this schmuck's worldview. He's a Trumpy, for God's sake. He's sitting here decrying Elon Musk wasting taxpayer money. Does he have the same? Does he care about slush funds created from settlements? With $10 billion lawsuits against
Yeah, but John,
himself.
the difference is it's rare when you get. I'm not expecting overnight success asking someone who's a blatant Trump fan to disown everything Trump says, but it's a step when you can honestly say that the ballroom is a waste of money, and that's at least something.
He didn't say that. He said he didn't care about it.
Well, that's what he meant.
Say it's a waste of money. He said he didn't care about it.
What he also said, which I'm going to comment now, is that he had a hearing today or yesterday where he's suing the federal government. I would love for him to post in the group chat his application that he's suing the federal government.
No problem,
Frankly,
Steve.
I'll go out on a limb. I don't believe that for a second.
Oh, you don't believe it?
I know that lawsuits have been
All right,
filed
if you say
against
so,
him
Steve.
for election fraud. But
Nope.
I seriously
Incorrect.
doubt
Incorrect.
he's
Not
filed an
true.
independent
Not
lawsuit
true.
against
That was
the
a
federal
blurb
government,
on a
and I
news
would love to
website.
see it.
Not true. Fake news. That
I
was
have
fake
no-
news on a blurb on a website.
I have no ire for somebody who's going to say that that it's a Trump fan who says that who I think it maybe you're right, John, but I think the implication there is a little bit of a concession that is at least a bullshit project, and that can also clearly see that there's a hell of a lot of propaganda that comes out of Elon Musk's mouth. I've never had a problem with somebody who's going to say that either. In fact, I'm a little surprised that you even went down that pathway. So I see that as a small progress. You know, anybody who's reframing Twitter as a, you know, what was he call it? Absolute free speech platform. I mean, come on, like, give me a break. Like, it clearly
There's
is
still the
propaganda.
hypocrisy, the overwhelming hypocrisy of being
I consider the source, John.
Elon Musk.
I consider the source. I do not draw.
I mean,
I
it's
do not
just this
draw.
guy.
Yeah, but I don't draw major ire from. I expect him to come in and say something 10 times as bombastic as that, and that's actually. Look, if I came in the room and I said, you know, there's a lot of bullshit waste that's going on, and you know, Elon Musk is behind a lot of it, and you know, I can even say that the ballroom is waste, and I'm a Trump fan, and oh, by the way, you know, here's a few examples of Trump spreading propaganda. I'm not losing my shit over that one. There's a lot more things.
Bro, if the
saying.
ballroom's only $1 billion and we're experiencing at least $365 billion a year in fraud, and that's only 10% of the 4.2 trillion in Medicare, Medicaid, 10% would be 400 billion. So what is 1 billion when we lose $1 billion a day to fraud? That's what I'm saying. $1 billion ballroom, to me, the money could be spent on tiny homes, affordable housing. I think that if Trump wanted to be magnanimous, he would actually build Trump cities for the low and disadvantaged that need housing. Housing is the biggest burden on anyone's lives. The expense, the cost. You have to keep working nonstop just to keep a roof over your head. It's insanity. It's the biggest expense in anybody's pocketbook. But Steve, I am suing the federal government, and I'm suing the IRS for sexual harassment and for
That's
workplace
great.
violence.
Are you going to post your lawsuit that you filed in the group chat?
In the group chat, this cell phone is a burner phone. First of all, Steve, I'd have to go to my actual office desktop to pull up the EEOC complaint. And why I would waste my time proving to you about a personal business matter, Steve, get a life, man.
I would say stop lying and start telling the truth.
Get a life, my man.
I would never publish my personal documents for law claims personally, but then again, I don't know if I'd be talking that I'd be making them either. There's that point, but.
Well, I love you to death. I respect you more than pretty much anybody about Clubhouse. But once you file a lawsuit, it's a public document. You know that, Pro.
No, I'm just saying that the ability to like, there's a lot of public things. Like yesterday, I discussed how I don't usually go by my first or last name on Clubhouse, but I also understand that there's 500 pages on me on Google, and I have a Wikipedia page that states my name, but there's a difference on the marketing side of it and what you want people to say and think.
Right.
As opposed, there's that. So the voluntary, I'm going to post a public document about myself might be more than some people want to do.
Right. However, please always remember and never forget that it was Kitover himself that came onto Clubhouse and solicited donations for his campaign. So he was running for office. He solicited donations on Clubhouse. That makes him a public figure and subjects him to certain things that people like you or me, and I've got thousands of documentations on the internet like you. It puts him in public office. He came onto Clubhouse. He got a couple of $1,000s of donations, as far as I know.
Steve, I got $600. $600, Steve. $600. If you get over 5,000, you have to file with the Federal Election Commission, and file your
My
accounting.
understanding is that you got a couple of thousand.
I got $600.
And then of your 12 or 1,500 signatures, they were only able to verify a couple of hundred were legit, which is why an investigation was opened up against you for election fraud.
There was no investigation opened for election fraud.
Am I right or
Steve,
wrong?
Steve, there was no investigation. Hello? Are you going to let me speak after these ludicrous accusations? Steve, I ran a clean campaign. I didn't forge any signatures. I raised $600 to run for Congress, and I caused a panic for Darren LaHood in the 16th District, a well-known and powerful Republican congressman. And I am a public figure, just like you, Steve Appel. I paid my workers, my campaign workers. I paid my workers. That's what workers do. They get paid. It's called a job. It's called a circulator. You know what a circulator is, Steve? You can't pay. You got to pay them per hour. It's called division. Maybe you haven't done it in a while. I know your vision is going bad, so you probably don't look at a calculator.
I've never run
But thank God we got a map. Yeah, I know, Steve. It takes courage to do it. That's what I have. I'm a public figure, Steve. That's why you've never done it. But you host some bullshit sheriff. Okay, he ran away. Had to go on a conference call to file another Social Security disability claim. Ha 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 ha.
Normally, most times people would just bounce off the app and they come right back in 30 seconds or so. But maybe Steve is tired of talking. The same grace I extend Steve by thinking that is the same grace I'd extend you by not coming out and say that I have to declare that all people are frauds and scammers. I've heard all the stuff people said and stuff, you and other people on the app or whatever, but it's like you quoting me yesterday, a little bit out of context, but kind of the right idea. It's like at the end of the day, I really don't care. Like it's not my business. It's not my business to point the finger and tail wag on somebody who's not trying to immediately interfere in my own doing. So I usually kind of stay out of it, but I just kind of try to judge what people are saying and what they're not saying. But I think people carry a lot of baggage from conversation to conversation. I generally don't even remember conversation to conversation that I have with people. I try to always be like that, and then just start the next conversation. Now, do I remember a little of it? Sure. Do you get the context? Yeah. Well, people come on doing flamethrowers all the time, and people just because they had a bad experience with them or whatever right out the gate, it's like, bro, that's what makes the app sometimes ridiculous.
Well, this is where I think people are unaware that they are their own worst enemies. And, what's interesting about AI and super intelligence is a corporation is indeed like its own super intelligent city or corporation. And this app is a corporation, and people plug into the corporation to have all this communication, to generate data, to generate revenue. But it's still a corporation. So in a way, this is like the corporation of the future where nobody gets paid to come to work. So, we are...
So we are volunteers, citizen.
Yeah, we're volunteers, but you could look at it as like employees and not volunteers, because technically people come here with the attitude of an employee. And as you just witnessed, Steve, who works in the legal profession, for him, his kick is to come here and get to play the judge or an attorney, because he's not an attorney. He's a paralegal.
Unpaid, though. Unpaid.
Unpaid, but it's work. Because it's just your time. Where you spend your time is your work. The creation and the creative value you bring. So, in many ways, Clubhouse is like the empty space. Space is like a corporation as well. And the thing to me, which is so amazing, is if you study astrology and tarot and occult sciences or occult philosophy, especially with the zodiac and the planets, most people I'm actually looking at the moon now in my backyard with a telescope. And when you spend time looking at a moon, and then you start thinking about the concepts attached to the moon, it's interesting. And not a lot of people, your average everyday person, doesn't have the time, the desire to maybe explore that content, which is just there. But it's just crazy that people will spend their whole lives and never contemplate what the fuck Saturn means, or what Jupiter
Yeah, they're all
means,
flat.
or Mars, or Mercury, or Venus. I mean, do you like astrology, Miss?
Look at it, right?
Do you like astrology, Miss Nancy?
Oh yeah, I do.
Because
Let's follow
to
it.
me,
I have
those
a
are.
telescope and I've looked, but it's not good yet.
I don't necessarily mean like, physical astronomy. I'm talking about the subjective, not the objective. And so I was going to try to bridge. I was going to try to bridge with Steve and say, listen, Steve, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I do side with you with regards to science and objectivity. Because to think, to poo poo SpaceX and what they do is ridiculous. Because honestly, it's fucking impressive and it's amazing. But building a tiny home for somebody on Figueroa Street, in in downtown Los Angeles, like that's also amazing. Everything is amazing. But the thing to me is priorities. Lunar terraforming is not the priority of America. And it never should be and never will be. But that's what Elon Musk says it should be. And that narrative farming, that content farming, it actually flows to federal dollars, tens of billions of dollars that Elon wants to get, because the truth is almost all profit is derived and created at the federal level. At 7 trillion a year, there's not a major corporation that does not receive tens of billions of dollars. And the big beautiful bill, the top corporation is Apple. They're getting a $70 billion a year tax credit. 70 billion. They don't need it. But what it is that means they don't have to pay taxes. They do not have to pay taxes. But at the individual level, when you file your federal income tax, you're paying a lot in taxes individually. Why is the individual supporting the government, but the biggest corporations aren't? What? Is it all the lobbying? It's got to be. So, anyways, I'm just saying that we need a serious corporate tax reform in this country. We cannot continue supporting the government on the backs of the workers. The liability has to transfer back to the mega corporations, the Fortune 500. If you don't think that is not one of the biggest problems, and you've never talked about it, or you don't talk with people that do talk about it, I mean, to me, the issue is always tax reform. It's not ideological propaganda and polarized ideology. It is tax reform. That's the mega issue, in my opinion. It's the issue. It's always ever present.
But what are you? Are you the one who has so many accounts on this app? Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh wow. But that's also work and effort. You do more work than we do. We have maybe 1-2 houses. That's it. But you actually working on it that you get people there, and you have a lot of accounts.
It's not heavy lifting. It's pushing a button.
I don't know. That looks to me.
Well, have you ever worked in a restaurant for 10 hours? I mean, I'm not coming home broken.
I'm just curious because, why they're after you? And I heard a little bit of what Steve said, but I didn't understand what was going on.
I ran for Congress, and I solicited money here, and people were promoting me here, and I raised a meager $600. $600. And I think my total campaign spent probably like 2,000. No, way more than that, like 4,000 or 5,000. And I had to generate signatures. And I'm accused by my opponent. Now, no, it's not the election commission. It is my opponent who I have accused of fraud. He accused me of fraud, but I accused him of fraud 1,000 times. So I'm not that upset that I'm accused of fraud, because I've accused him of fraud 1,000 times publicly. COVID-19 is the biggest fraud ever created in terms of legislation and HRX to create trillions of dollars in debt. So, I didn't forge any signatures. I paid employees to go out there and get me signatures in Rockford, which is in the precinct. And I think some of the people involved in the network of people, of the girl that I hired off of Craigslist, I think her boyfriend, they must have gone to a restaurant and bullshitted some of the petitions. Now, I have no way of knowing that. And they didn't do a full audit of my petitions. And the woman who worked for me is less than reliable. Let's put it that way. She was hard to communicate with. She disappeared on me. I had to hire an Uber to go to Rockford to bring the petitions to Chicago. She was extremely difficult to work with, and I was being shaken down. Okay? So.
Did you not fire her then? She worked for you?
Well, it's just a temp position. It's not some type of, business. So anyways, I'm just saying people on this app like to rag on me, but I have the experience now of running for Congress. That experience is invaluable. Not many people in their lives will ever experience that.
Running for Congress for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
I never met somebody running for Congress sitting here in the app.
Yeah, I ran it start to finish. That was my second campaign. Okay. My first campaign was to run for committee person, which is a know-nothing, unpaid position within the party. And that was my first experience with lawsuits. There's a quasi-election court that every candidate goes through with regards to petitions and challenges to your signatures. And now I'm running for mayor of Chicago. The interesting thing about...
You wanted to be a mayor from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm a resident. I'm a resident of Chicago, and I'm running for mayor in Chicago. And the most interesting thing that I have discovered.
When you are accused of fraud, can you then become a mayor?
Of course,
like Trump.
Well, you got to understand, fraud on the internet is just online rhetoric, banter, and defamation and slander. It's to defame an individual. And again, as I just said earlier, I defamed and slandered my opponent 10,000 times by calling him a fraud. Because if we have an unbalanced budget and you're siphoning $2 trillion off the top, which is just a skim, you are engaged in immoral, unethical, less than virtuous financial management of our system. It's my opinion. We could take out $2 trillion from our annual budget right now and call it a day. But we won't do it because that money is the cheddar. That's the cream on top of the milk. And what are you going to do? You're going to stop? You're going to stop the VIG? That's what it's come down to. We have a $40 trillion mortgage. We got a $2 trillion skim, and we have a $1.2 trillion annual interest payment. So the whole thing is now completely set up against the average American to completely impugn a system of debt slavery against you your entire lifetime. If you're 20, you can't escape this. So as a liberation mayor or a libertarian or a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter what party I am in, you have to advocate for tax reform and ultimately debt resolution. Because it's unfair to ask a 21-year-old today to work for 50 years to service the debt. Like, we need a debt jubilee or some kind of consolidation. It's within our power to do these things because we can shape the narrative based off of our words. And it will bankrupt the entire system, and banks will become insolvent, but they will recapitalize, and new technology will have to take its place. We need the entire legal industrial complex to also, we need to see, this is the problem with Elon. We don't need to terraform the moon. We need to terraform industries and categories of business in our society. And we can't expect a 21-year-old with $120,000 in college student loans and $450,000 in federal debt liabilities to accept $1 million debt that they have to work to repay, and it's only growing.
Yeah, that's sad.
Norway doesn't have this problem. Saudi Arabia doesn't have this problem. Many countries do not have this problem. Their citizens have a surplus.
Lower the prices for the ones who really want to study. Really go to school.
I'm just advocating.
Make it lower the prices. I would say there are students. They're not like rich and have a job.
I'm just advocating for legal debt resolution, and not civil war and not violence ever, because we can settle this on the ledger with a pen. It was created with a pen. We can solve it with a pen. There's no need for violence. However, if you study the French Revolution, which is really like its own microcosm of violence and political polarization, but also intellectual and knowledge, intelligence, reformation about how to run society. We have an incredible opportunity in America to literally do as we please. And it's because the world has bought into America. America is like still the new world to China, to India, to Europe. We are this third party agent which has the continuity of consciousness, which is what Elon wants to deposit on the lunar surface, which is stupidity. Because we've already got it here. We've got to play our game here in America now and not waste our fucking money on terraforming the moon. Let's not be the what Elon Musk and his bronies, aka Adrian Dittman and his group of cool guys do, because they're not cool. Elon has issues. Elon Musk goes by the name Adrian Dittman. And you can listen to him every Friday, Saturday, goon out and play video games and cook a butter steak. It's not the leader that I would prefer in America. He's a German. He thinks like a German. In many ways, he is a supremacist. But, you know, not the horrible type, because I have heard him actually attack low IQ racists on X who are extremely low IQ and brain rotted out. And they are incredibly toxic people that have huge followings that spread hate and discontent and friction and lies and propaganda of the worst kind, which is racial propaganda, which is defamation propaganda. And it's rampant. Oh, my friend is here. Anyways, this is the empty space. Hello?
Not an empty at all, but who's your friend?
I agree with you. In North America puts very little emphasis on public harmonious relations between people. We just don't have that culture. We're individualists.
See, we are individualists because we think we are, but there is a collective unconsciousness within the collective. You know, there is a collective unconsciousness. You can't escape that. And that's what you can manipulate at scale, and that's what's happening.
No, exactly right. That's actually very insightful. There is no way to get away from the collective unconscious that is pop culture. This idea that people in North America are individualists is it's a lie. The question is,
You just went from going we are all individualists to none of us are individualists. Do you see how quick you can flip it?
Emphasis put on this, and very little effort by the government to bring people together. So it's problematic. It's a very young and immature and selfish culture at this point in our development.
Well, you know, I play music. I consider myself a musician, a politician, and a magician, amongst other things. But to me, being a musician is really the most fun, because I think that there is a challenge that everyone individually has to face, which is, how do I maintain intelligence, knowledge, and equilibrium to engage in some type of profitable trade? Because that little book I have, The Virtue of Selfishness, is all about altruism versus egoism. And you need a healthy balance. The healthy balance is really what you could call the middle pillar of strength. You know,
Can you split the difference between altruism and what was it, the two that you mentioned? altruism and
This is why I read books, my friend.
egoism. What's the difference? Like, can you kind of define and split?
Yeah. Altruism is sacrificing self or others for others, which is truly wealth redistribution. And that's what our country we are a socialist, communist, state-run, capital-controlled economy. And egoism is essentially, I think, just a concept, because there is no such thing as an ego. But in relation to the comparison, egoism is not necessarily self-centered narcissism. I think it's just protectivism, security. It's the intelligence of how do I optimize, survive, and in that process, help other people become productive and creative and intelligent. Why do you think people go to school? And so I'm just saying that we have a unique opportunity, I think, even with Clubhouse, to actually cut the budget for public education, force people to actually document their knowledge and document their education, which is you go on YouTube and you read a book. You have now confirmed to me that you've read this book from start to finish because you filmed yourself. Prove it! Don't tell me, show me. Show me!
I do want to push back. Oh, sorry. Well, one thing I want to push back against is,
Bull rush.
you know, when we talk about altruism or equality, these sorts of things within North America, very often we're referring to you know, money, things like money, but I don't see that as our largest problem. You know, people lacking money is not a problem in itself. Not exactly. I mean, it is problematic. I think the greatest difficulty that we have is crafting a high trust society. You know, if you're poor, but if you have health care, if you're poor but you feel like there is a very good chance of, you know, raising yourself up. If there's not much tension between different groups of people within a society, this is what we kind of want to work towards. But the news and the media is really, we're all about outrage culture, and I think this really holds us back from developing further here in North America. You'd mentioned China. China is kind of just laughing at us, bro. Like, I know it's not a perfect place, but they understand the importance of at least the government trying to make a really good run at crafting a high trust society, right? We just don't have that. Yeah.
High control, like authoritative dictators. So, like, I think just
it's not all bad, dude.
Well, I think just recently she removed 200 and some high-ranking military personnel because of concern that they could eventually overtake country. Or they didn't necessarily.
Yeah, I'm talking about something different though.
They weren't compliant. So trust isn't compliance, and in China, it's compliance.
No, it's not.
Dictatorship with mass surveillance.
No. I'm talking about something. Dude, I understand what you're talking about. I understand, but I'm talking about something completely different. I know, dude. I know you're Buddhist. Yes.
The behavioral behaviors of the populace are controlled by the top down.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so, dude, I'm talking about something very different. What I'm talking about is a tradition in China, Japan, and Korea. These cultures I'm very well familiar with, and it goes back to, like, you know, 3,500 years, even before Confucius. Right. And so what I'm talking about is, like, if you go into a Chinese village any place, the people who are of zero relation to the old lady, let's say the oldest lady that lives in the village, they always come and they knock on their door early in the morning on the way to elementary school. They knock on our door, even, like I was saying, there's no relation. They say, you know, hey, Grandma, how are you doing? Is everybody okay, right? And in a lot of these old villages, the houses are built in circles. They're like circular apartments. And everybody watches over each other. There's a very, very strong sense of community. And the Chinese developed this, right? And the reason they developed it, as you probably know, dude, is that they have very dense population structure. The population density is very, very tight, and it creates a sense of community. What we have, and I feel that we want this in North America on a subconscious level.
No.
Okay, it's nothing. I know there's a lot of corruption in the Chinese government. I would never argue against
No, I'm
that.
not
I know
talking
that
about
there's control state.
corruption. I'm talking about watching. You mentioned watching. Everyone's watching everybody, and there's a control.
No, it's not like that. It's a different thing. It's a concern. There's a difference between control.
My Tibetan friends have a much different lived experience than what you're experiencing.
Sure. I'm not. It's not different because in Tibet.
Or anyone protesting in Hong Kong, they have a much different lived experience.
No, but the people in Hong Kong. Look. My family's lived in Hong Kong for 40 years, bro. I'll give you an example from Hong Kong.
I'm talking about during the protest.
I'm talking about something completely different, dude.
No, I understand.
I'm talking about from the ground up.
You're ignoring reality with your little.
I'm not ignoring. I'm not ignoring what you're saying, dude. I know these problems exist. I'm not talking about government control. I'm talking about a ground up thing. So you mentioned Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, they have these massive buildings where like 3,000 people live. They're called danchi, right? And these danchi, on the first floor, you have very cheap, when the businessmen, when they get ready to go off to work, you can go down to the first floor and everybody there in the morning has like a coffee, Hong Kong coffee, buns, and it's quite cheap. And everybody kind of, it's not socialism, but it is a very strong communal feeling, right? You say, I live in this apartment, and everybody kind of knows one another. What my whole point is that I'm getting to is that you had mentioned government control in China trying to oppress people, and I completely agree with that. I agree with that. But what we have here in North America is, I feel on a subconscious level, people want this communal feeling because it's natural for all human beings to want this sort of high trust society. Because we have a news
go together. There are two ways of thinking about the same thing, or shall we say two dimensions of the same thing, just like length and breadth. Or just, shall we say, like shape and color. You see, nobody ever saw a shape that wasn't colored. Nobody ever saw a color that wasn't shaped. And yet we can see there's a very clear difference between color and shape. But they always go together, they're always found together. Well, it's the same sort of relationship between mind and matter. And the difficulty that people have in trying to reduce one to the other, and saying, well, the world is only material, or saying, on the other hand, that it's only mental, is the same difference you would have in trying to reduce all shapes to colors, or all colors to shapes.